All right, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. I'm going to share my screen here and we'll do adoption of the agenda once I have that pulled up for everyone. I do have one addition to the agenda and it's going to be item B. I'm going to type that in here now. This is the water tower, excuse me, water line and water tower. Okay, and that's it, unless there's anything else we need to add it to the agenda. If I don't hear anything, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion made by Julie. To hear a second.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Gary. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda stands approved. Next item on agenda is your presentation, your minutes. And this is from our February 15th meeting. These were distributed out on, I believe, Friday. I'll briefly scroll through it. If there's no additions or changes, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Chris, if you could scroll down to the financial reports, excuse me, no, back, okay. I noticed that you got, on the approval that got seconded by board member Larry. I think that should be Kleeman instead.
Got it.
No big deal.
Okay. Any other changes or additions? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make that
So
motion.
moved.
Got a motion by Gary, seconded by John. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Minutes stand approved. Next item up is your comments of citizens. There are no citizens that did join in the meeting or made arrangements prior to our meeting. So we'll go ahead and move on to our superintendent's report. And this is just a second. All right. I'll give you all a brief moment to review this. Brent, is there anything you want to highlight out of your report?
No, there was something I failed to put on there, but
What would you like to add to it?
well, I just want to let you all know that we started on that filter today.
Okay.
I'm going to put that in there.
On the what?
The filter, changing the filter media, everybody, we got all the material. And we started on today. They got a lot done today.
Good.
Everything goes right.
What did that cost come in at, the final cost?
$89.9.
Good.
They should be done this week, weather permitting.
Okay. Any questions on his report? We'll move on to the financial report. Maybe, there we go. Scroll to the top here. All right, board, here's our financial report for total receipts. And our disbursements. Didn't have a good month.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Brent, was our big hit this month on, let me see, what was it? The Main Street project? Was that our big hit this month?
Yes,
That was our final payment in that.
yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
If you guys notice anything going on down there this week or next week, we've done a walkthrough, me and the inspector last week. And we'll bring them back in and make them re-rake all the lawns, reseed it and straw it. And that last fire hydrant that we installed down there, it's up in the yard. It's not plumb. And they got to come back in and have to dig that up and make it level. So
Okay.
you won't see it, John. You're
We'll send him pictures. All right. Any questions on the financials? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion made by Philip. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Julie. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Financial report stands approved. There was no old business, so we'll move on to new business. Item A under new business is our annual agreement between the water department and the wastewater department. What this is, board, this is our agreement with the wastewater to basically what they pay the water department for reading the meters, in essence. $36,788.40 is what the water department collects from the wastewater, because that's how they bill wastewater, is by reading the meters. What comes in goes out, pretty simple in most cases. And this is annual. We do this every year. So this is nothing new. It's just routine. So any questions regarding this? It was just approved at the Board of Works. So it's just up to the water board now if they wish to approve it.
This is a pretty common thing, isn't it, Chris?
Yes, sir. Brent, I kind of summed it up. Anything to add to that, or it's
No, they've always paid that every year. That water meter's, well, it's called a water meter. That's their cash register too, just like it is ours.
yeah.
That's an annual fee that they pay every year. It's supposed to take care of one salary paid meter reader. So I come up with that figure.
There's no question. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make
So
a
moved.
motion to approve it.
Okay. John kind of got you first. So we got motion made by John, seconded by Julie. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion stands approved. Next item on the agenda, the new business is item B, water line, water tower agreement. Just to give the board a little bit of background on this. If you remember back when we done the bonds for the water department back December 25th, I think is actually when, or something like that, 24th is when we actually sold the bonds for the water department, or reissued them, resold, however you want to word it. This is part of using that money, is to do these infrastructure improvements and add better ways to improve our water service. One is a 16-inch water main from the plant to the water tower. Right, Brent?
That's correct. Yes.
Currently, we have a 12-inch. That is right, and 12-inch.
Mhm.
So we're going to have, it basically would create a loop. Is that a better way to call it, Brent? Is it create a loop? So we'll have 112, 116. It'll go down, it'll go up what, Fulton Street, and then turn on 6 and go up Franklin.
Yes.
Okay. So this isn't just digging a little hole in the ground and burying some pipe. This can be a pretty complex project. You got to think under the railroad. It's got to go under that. It's got a lot of other utilities in the ground, sewer, other water lines, cable, phone, electric in some cases, I'm sure. It's a pretty complicated project to get it there. And obviously, a 16-inch pipe, that's a pretty deep hole. This is a huge, huge project. It's going to take a lot of planning and a lot of work and a lot of engineering to make this happen. We also have the water tower to be rehabilitated and painting. So the water tower hasn't been painted since 1997 when it was put up. Is that right, Brent? Was it put up 97?
Yeah, 99 is the last map I could.
Was it 99? Okay.
Yes.
So 21 years,
It's
22
never
years.
been
like
painted.
that.
It's never been painted since it was built.
We don't want our water tower, while you look at it, you don't see any rusting really. You see some dirt, or what you want to call it, on the bottom maybe of the tank. We did have that cleaned probably 5 years ago, seems like. And so, but I do think it's time that we actually repaint it and keep it in good tip-top condition so it will last longer. That's preventive maintenance and things that we need to do to keep that water tower in good standing condition. So that alone is another big project. You just can't go buy paint off the shelf at the store and just start painting it. Those are expensive to paint. When we talked about painting the one in Troy for board members, that's been on here for a while. And even when we had discussions on painting the Wapaka water tower, that cost was rather expensive. So all this has to be engineered to be done. So Lockmuller Group, who we have worked with in the past on several projects, came to us and we talked about doing some consulting and what they can offer us as far as helping us with these two projects. So Jeff, have you had a chance to review this yet?
I do not recall.
Okay. Well, obviously before.
No, wait a minute. Let me back up a step. I'm pretty sure that I did actually. It was their standard consulting agreement. Now I did not see it with these handwritten changes that are in there.
Well, we wrote these in there because they have to make these changes to it.
Gotcha.
We took out this project of it. Well, actually, we didn't take it out. They didn't take it out after we revised it. They accidentally left the AMI meter system in that Hoosier Heights pump station in there on accident. If you look at the appendix, it's correct. It's just this area right here is wrong, and they didn't put that part in there. So Appendix A, which I'm going to scroll down to it, and I can send this agreement out to the whole board if they want. If you're not
Yeah, but to make a
comfortable,
long story short, their consulting agreement, I'm very familiar with it.
if you're not comfortable with approving it necessary tonight, I understand. Won't hurt my feelings. This is the board's decision. Let me scroll down to Appendix A, which
Chris, are you talking about painting the exterior or interior or both of that tower?
well, it could probably be both,
Just,
but it's rehabilitation of it. So if it could be the inside, but I would say more outside, Brent, wouldn't you?
you can't paint the inside the way we're plumbed up right now.
There you
In
go.
other words, you just clean that, right? The inside's clean.
We've done it, yeah, we had it cleaned and inspected in 2018. It was in great shape.
Okay, so
You
this is
can't-
exterior painting, right? Right.
Yes, there's no way we could drain that tank and paint with just one line feeding it.
Yeah.
If we had that 16-inch line in place, had some redundancy, yeah, we could drain it and paint it. The next time it gets painted, it'll get painted inside and out. That
Yeah.
line will be done, hopefully.
So Gary, if you want to help paint, I'll hold the ladder.
All right.
Actually, it's got a ladder attached to it, so you're in good shape. I don't even have to hold it. So Appendix A, this project consists of design and plan preparations to replace existing water main, which runs from the water treatment plant to 10th Street elevated water storage tank, and replace the existing water main along Mozart and between 6th Street and 7th Street. This project also includes design services and rehabilitation and painting of the 10th Street elevated water tank. So, Brent, does
There
that
was one
relate?
part that water line run that Chris, that you didn't mention. Remember I talked to you about it. I also wanted to, while we were going along there on 6th, go over on Mozart and tie in that 12-inch line
Oh, yeah.
right there to the Pestalozzi tank, so we can have
It was only a couple blocks, wasn't it?
that tank. That's
It
one.
was only a block. Yeah.
Yeah.
Between 6 and 7, it was only a block. I do remember that now. So we do
That'll
need to
help
get
us
that.
out there too.
We do need to get that added to it.
It's gonna be expensive. I mean,
This whole project's expensive, but these
Yes.
are preventative maintenance, or not prevent. These are better ways to keep the quality of our water up and the dependability of it. We have to. These are things that need to be done. I feel, especially the water tower is important, but also that 16-inch line feeding it, as Brent just said, why it needs to be there. That's just one of many, many reasons. So this is a service that Lockmuller Group can perform. And let me get you to the last page. So this is the cost of all. I mean, it's not cheap for engineering, obviously.
Yeah.
So don't fall out of your chairs.
Chris, how many pages is this?
Well, it's broke down a thing, but it's like 20, 25, maybe. I can send it to you all before we approve
I wish you
anything.
would, Mayor.
It's no problem at all. I wanted to bring this to you
Read
so
it.
you guys can digest it, think about it. And if we need, if we would happen to need it approved right away or for consideration even right away, we could have a special meeting if we had to.
Are we going to be able to do that loop out that we talked about also? I know that's not part of this contract, but are we going to be able to do that as we talked about?
Which one is that, Larry?
The one out to Hoosier Heights, I think we were talking about.
We just amended it right now at this time because we've got so much going on this year. With that 16-inch and the painting of the water tower and the meter change out program. We're gonna have a busy year. So if we got any money left, we'll come back and get it next year. That's my hope. But I want to get this line in, looking at your all's street paving coming up next year.
I understand the line, and we talked about that when we talked about the bond issue. We had no discussion that I can recall about painting the water tower.
We did. That was the rehabilitation of the water tower on it.
When we talked about the bond issue, we talked about the 16-inch line. We talked about the so-called loop out the Hoosier Heights thing. We talked about the AMI meters. I thought there was a fourth thing we talked about, but it was not painting the water tower, not that I recall.
Well, we didn't use the exact words painting a water tower. It was rehabilitation of the water tower.
The other thing we talked about, Larry, was the filter media. Changing the filter meter. I think that's what you're talking about.
Might
Which
be.
we've already started on that today. Changing that out. So that should be done by the end of the week, I hope.
What are our bidding requirements, Mayor and Jeff? I mean, this is $500,000 for engineering fees.
Consulting doesn't require bidding.
Pardon me?
Consulting doesn't require bidding. Personal service, it's a services contract, doesn't require bidding.
So, I mean, this is up to you guys. This is the board. You guys call the shots here. So, if you're comfortable moving forward, that's fine. If you're not, that's fine too. If you want to take time to review this, because again, you didn't even get a copy of this yet. So if you don't approve it, I understand that 100%. This is just something I wanted to get out there for you guys to digest, talk about, think about. That's what this is about.
I would prefer to get a copy of it first, if that,
I
Or
couldn't agree
both.
with you. I agree with you. I'm hoping that's what you want. So, but I wanted to throw it out there. So I agree.
okay.
And
And
Mayor, this 213,000, is that money going to Lockymiller Group?
it would,
213,000.
it would.
And that would not involve any construction costs at all.
No.
So
And
what would be the total cost of this project approximately?
Well,
I don't-
Chris, the first one he sent us, you remember but that had the AMI.
mhm.
And I said, no way we're gonna let him get involved in those meters.
Yeah.
But it had the water line from Mozart to Boundary Way. They had all that engineered in there. The contract they wanted to sign it, $640,000.
Mhm.
And I didn't want them involved in the meters. There's no reason for them to be involved in that. So
Right. So
I
board,
fell
if,
off my chair on that one. God.
and I can, if the board wants me to reach out to some other engineering firms, I can. This is just the first one. So
Mhm.
don't like shoot the messenger. I'm just passing this on to the board for consideration. So it's the board's decision.
It would be nice to look at another one, but I don't know much.
I can reach out to a few of them that we've worked with in the past. I mean, it's totally, Brent, you think I think it's fair. Brent, what are your
Oh, yeah.
thoughts?
Yeah, I've always been about that. Yeah.
I think it's
I don't,
fair.
I don't want anybody to have a vice grip on us. I don't like that.
So, I mean, again, I think this is what we want. I'm glad that you guys are having discussion.
Midwestern
This is
engineers
why
built
this
this
is-
plant down there and they done us a good job. So
This is why this is such a great board. You guys offer great suggestions and solutions and ideas. So this is great.
I know there's a committee that has been studying the AMI meters. Where do we stand on that? Do we know what that's going to cost yet?
oh, that could go as high as that could go as high as $1.5 million chunk of projects done. We're still working on the spec sheet.
Yeah. We're close on the spec sheet. It's not too far off.
Yeah, we're getting closer.
Yeah, we had a meeting week before last. That was a pretty productive meeting, I think.
Yeah, those remote reads they're really pricey. Install is gonna be that's gonna be a bear to do that. That's gonna be a heck of a job.
It's going to be a job, but it's a job that we have to do. I mean, it needs to be done. So I'm here. The way I'm gathering from this board is
So right now, I've got some dead meters out there, Chris, that I don't have nothing. I won't buy no meters right now.
I agree.
I don't see any reason to buy any.
Just go out and read it manually, and that's it.
A dozen or so, but I don't see any reason buying a meter and then agreeing on another company, and we can't even use that meter. So
I agree.
I just shut it all down now.
So what I'm gathering, and if I'm wrong, correct me, the board would like to obviously have this emailed to them, and they should. You want me to reach out to a few other engineering firms to have some discussions with them. And we'll revisit this more than likely at our next meeting rather than actually have a special meeting, because it'll take some time for these other ones to.
That would be my preference, Chris. I mean, $500,000,
You guys, you're preaching to the choir. I fell out of my chair. So I think it's a responsible thing to do. I think it's the right thing to do. And it seems like, I'm not asking for a motion, but because I don't really need one for this, everybody's on board with doing that.
I'll
Yes.
agree with that, Mayor.
Okay,
That's
then that's
good.
what I'll do. I'll
Good
make
for the month.
some calls this week, and we'll get on it. Because I mean, this is a project we need to get done. But I think you guys are moving in the right direction, definitely, by being responsible and doing your homework on it. And I appreciate all of you for doing that. So this was a good discussion point. I think it was getting it out there. Well, at least one option is, and that's what we have to do. So I respect you all and thank you for doing that. You make me feel better, at least.
Me too.
Well, good. It turned out to be a good meeting. So that's really all I have. Unless there's any other discussion, I really don't have a mayor's report. I kind of gave a little bit of a lengthy one at our last meeting. So if there's nothing else to be brought before the board, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a
Motion to
motion to
adjourn.
adjourn.
Like, not everybody at once. We have a motion made by Julie, and was that you seconding that, John?
Yes, sir.
Seconded by John. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all. Have a wonderful night.